Great minds do not prove their greatness in stillness, but in how they rise again when storms of fate knock them to their knees. For it is not the calm that defines strength, but the return from chaos. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit, as we are what we repeatedly do. And even in moments of weakness, we are not defined by the stumble, but by the will to rise again and again. Let no one delay the good they can do, for in the delays of action lies the decay of destiny. Begin now. Begin with what you have, for no man ever reached greatness by merely waiting for perfect conditions. The beginning is the most important part of the work, and from one virtuous action, another is born, until the soul becomes a river of noble deeds, and the world begins to change, because you dared to live rightly. Do not concern yourself with being better than others. Concern yourself only with being better than you were yesterday. For the wise seek not comparison, but inner transformation. It is not that life is short, but that we waste much of it. And if we would but attend to our purpose and align our actions with truth, we would find time enough to live greatly. A man who conquers himself is mightier than one who conquers cities, and within each battle of restraint and reflection is born a deeper strength, the kind that no tyrant can ever take. Live with purpose and walk with virtue, and though the path may twist through hardship and night, your steps will be guided by a light that never dies, the flame of reason, the fire of the soul. Do not be carried away by opinion or crowd, for truth is not found in volume, but in clarity, and the voice of conscience whispers, when the world shouts and guides, when all else fails. What you hold in your soul becomes your world, and thus guard your thoughts with care and nourish them with the wisdom of ages. For as the seed, so the tree; as the thought, so the man. Let your words be few and your actions full. For the wise are known not by how they speak, but by how they live, by how they endure, and by how they uplift others through quiet strength. The soul grows through challenge and difficulty, not through ease and pleasure. And so when trial comes, do not shrink, but welcome it as the gymnasium of the spirit, the place where gods are shaped. From discipline comes freedom, from effort comes peace, and from understanding comes love. And this love is not mere sentiment, but the highest form of order, a harmony with all that is. The universe is change, and life is opinion. And in this flux, we find our stillness by holding fast to reason, by living each moment as if it were our last and yet worthy of eternity. The gods have given you reason not to sit idle, but to act with justice, with courage, and with moderation. And when these are your companions, fear and regret shall never sit beside you. Time is a river of passing events, and no man steps into the same current twice. So live now and live fully, for the present is all you truly possess, and it is the temple of decision. Gratitude turns what we have into enough, and what we dream into destiny, and the soul that thanks the dawn awakens miracles and walks the earth with joy and peace in their steps. Let your inner citadel be strong. Let it be built of virtue, guarded by wisdom, and crowned by purpose. And then no storm shall breach your gates, and no loss shall steal your light. Each day is a page in your epic, each moment a verse in your legend. And though the world may never know your name, the gods will know the weight of your spirit and the glory of your fight. Do not wish to be immortal in memory. Wish instead to live rightly now, and then memory shall take care of itself, for truth is eternal, and what is done in virtue shall echo beyond time. Awaken each day as if it were your first and your last, for in this awakening lies reverence, and in reverence the soul grows wings. You were not born for comfort, but for greatness, not for idle dreams, but for deeds worthy of Olympus. And though the climb is steep, every step taken in virtue is a step toward the divine. Let the mind be your kingdom. Let reason be your ruler, and let virtue be your law. Then, though you may walk among men, your soul shall dwell with gods. The universe does not conspire against you. It conspires within you, urging you to rise to become, to fulfill that which lies dormant until stirred by courage. He who fears death has not learned to live for the wise. Do not seek to escape the end, but to honor the journey with each breath, with each act of integrity, with each choice to rise rather than retreat. Your task is not to avoid pain, but to master it, to make of suffering a teacher and of discipline a friend. For no one becomes wise by fleeing storms, but by standing within them and learning their music. To speak little, but do much, to judge not, but understand, to expect nothing but give freely. These are the markings of the truly great, for power without kindness is empty, and knowledge without humility is blind. The fire within you is not lit by flattery or praise, but by purpose, by action, and by choosing daily to align yourself with what is right, not what is easy. Every soul was made for a reason, and until it finds its rhythm, it wanders. So seek not distraction, but clarity, and the stillness of truth will find you. No man is free who is a slave to his passions, and no man is wise who speaks before he listens. So tame the wild horse of desire, and you shall ride the chariot of self-command. Forgive not because they deserve it, but because your soul deserves peace. And to carry anger is to chain yourself to yesterday. Justice is not a word, it is a way of being. And when you walk in justice, the earth beneath your feet becomes sacred, and every action becomes a prayer to the gods. There is beauty in simplicity and strength in silence, and often the most powerful truths are those spoken without words, written only on the hearts of those who live them. The mind can be a fortress or a prison, and the difference lies in whether you guard it with truth or decorate it with illusion. Let your eyes look not at shadows, but at light, not at faults, but at potential. For what you focus upon, you empower, and what you ignore fades into dust. Fate is not the enemy, it is the canvas, and you are the brush. And though the winds may howl, your hand remains steady if it is guided by purpose. A wise man sees the world as it is not as he wishes it to be, and from this acceptance springs serenity, for he no longer wrestles with what cannot be controlled. Even the smallest action done with love echoes through eternity, and the gods themselves smile upon those who choose compassion over conquest. Seek not applause, but alignment, not praise, but peace, and you shall find a reward far greater than fame, the quiet joy of a soul in harmony with truth. Live so that when your story is told, even by a whisper, it carries the weight of mountains, the clarity of rivers, and the warmth of the eternal sun. Within every man lies the seed of divinity, the spark of reason, and the whisper of the eternal. And though the world may distract you, and time may weather you, the soul remembers its origin. Do not ask for an easier path, ask for stronger legs. Do not pray for the storm to pass, pray for the courage to stand within it, unmoved like the oak that bends but does not break. In the temple of silence, the soul speaks most clearly, and in the stillness between thoughts lies the gate to wisdom. So do not fear solitude, for it is the forge where clarity is born. He who conquers himself is mightier than he who conquers a city, and he who rules his own mind is greater than kings. for the battlefield of the soul is the truest test of all. It is not in noise that we grow, but in reflection, not in chasing all things, but in mastering one. For the disciplined mind builds a disciplined life, and in discipline there is peace. Speak not of what you will do one day, speak only of what you are doing now. For dreams unacted upon are dust, and only in motion do ideas become monuments. Let pain be your teacher, not your jailer. Let fear be your fuel, not your chain, and let every challenge be a signal that greatness is near waiting for you to claim it. The soul thrives on purpose, as the body thrives on breath, and to live without direction is to drift like a ship without sail, lost to every current and blind to every star. Guard your thoughts, for they shape your destiny. Guard your speech, for it reveals your soul, and guard your actions, for they echo across generations long after your voice falls silent. No flame lasts forever, yet while it burns, it gives warmth. So too, your life may be brief, but let it shine, let it heat, let it kindle others, and you will never truly die. The gods favor those who act with honor, not those who win with deceit. For victory, won without virtue, is hollow and fleeting, like smoke in the wind. Every dawn is a new scroll waiting to be written, and every choice is the ink. So write with intention, speak with purpose, and live as if the fates themselves are watching. The wise man asks, not what he can take from the world, but what he can give, for true wealth lies not in possessions, but in legacy, in virtue, in the seeds you plant in others. Be not discouraged by failure, for it is the sculptor of greatness, and every stumble is the chisel shaping the statue of your soul. The stars do not fight for their place in the sky. They shine, and so must you, without apology, without comparison, simply as you are radiant in your essence. Hold fast to integrity, even when the world does not, for the soul that betrays itself gains nothing, and the man who lives in truth walks taller than the tallest tower. You were made to endure, not to escape, made to rise, not to retreat. And though the night may be long, the dawn always comes to those who walk in faith. Let your courage be contagious, your presence be peace, and your life be a lighthouse to those still wandering through storms. Live so that when your time has passed, the wind still whispers your name, the trees still lean in remembrance, and the hearts you've touched still beat with the fire you ignited. The soul was not born for comfort, but for greatness. It is not the softness of the path, but the strength of the traveler that determines the journey. When you walk with purpose, every step becomes a prayer, and every hardship a hymn to the divine. For destiny bows not to the weak, but to those who rise again and again. Wisdom begins when we admit we know little, and grows when we walk with humility. For the arrogant man builds towers on sand, but the wise build temples on stone. Ask not why the world is harsh. Ask instead how you shall respond to it, and know that virtue forged in adversity glows brighter than gold, polished by ease. You are not merely flesh and bone. You are a vessel of Logos, a fragment of the eternal mind, and your breath is but the echo of divine intent. No man is free who is a slave to pleasure, and no man is rich who fears loss, for true power lies in mastery over self, and peace lives only in detachment from what decays. Remember that every sunrise is a contract between you and destiny, and every breath a chance to rise higher than your former self. Speak not to impress, but to uplift. Act not to be seen, but to serve and give. Not to be remembered, but because it is right. Time is the river we all travel, yet it is not the speed of your steps, but the direction that matters. For one moment lived in virtue outweighs a century spent in vanity. The wise know that suffering is not punishment, but refinement, not cruelty, but shaping, and in the crucible of pain, the soul remembers its immortality. Train your mind to be your ally, not your enemy. Fill it with noble thoughts, anchor it in discipline, and guide it with vision, for the undirected mind is a tempest without captain. Let gratitude be your daily armor. Let presence be your guiding fire, and let silence teach you what noise never can. In the gymnasium of the soul, effort is the sweat of transformation and repetition, the ritual of greatness. So do not despise the daily discipline, for it builds invisible wings. Resist the temptation of ease, for comfort breeds decay, and the man who chooses the hard right over the easy wrong becomes a titan in a world of shadows. There is no shame in falling, only in staying down, and each time you rise with new strength. For the soul remembers the taste of triumph more than the sting of defeat. To carry your cross with honor is to walk beside the gods, for suffering, born with grace, becomes the seed of sacredness. The world offers many distractions, but the wise man walks straight, undiverted, for he knows that time is short and the mission is vast. You were not sent here to merely exist. You were sent to blaze, to carve light from shadow, to lift those still crawling with the wings of your courage. Let every deed be noble, every word be just, and every step be aimed at the summit, for the mountain of excellence welcomes only those who climb with resolve. In the end, it will not be your trophies that echo in eternity, but your integrity, your discipline, and your unwavering devotion to what is true, good, and eternal. Do not seek peace in the absence of challenge. Seek it in your response to the storm, for calmness born of stillness is fragile, but calmness born of fire is unbreakable. Each dawn is a sacred invitation to begin again, to become again, to choose again, and in each breath you hold the power to ascend from mere existence to divine expression. The gods do not favor the idle. They crown the diligent, the ones who forge their character in the silence of unseen hours and rise unshaken when the world trembles. You are not your past, nor your scars, nor your fears. You are the will that chooses virtue. Despite them, you are the spirit that says yes to discipline and no to decay. Let the words of Heraclitus guide you. Character is destiny, for what you do daily becomes who you are eternally. Do not measure your life in applause. Measure it in alignment with the good, the noble, the eternal. For virtue outlives fame, and righteousness never rusts. The wise man walks alone at times, but he walks with the cosmos in his heart. For solitude is not loneliness. It is the soil where roots of greatness grow deep. To suffer well is to live nobly. To endure with grace is to walk with the ancients, for they too knew pain, and they too chose meaning over ease. You are not meant to be understood by all, for truth rarely pleases the crowd, but let your life be a quiet revolution, a fire that ignites others to seek their higher path. Cleanse your heart of resentment. It poisons the soul more than any wound, and the one who forgives walks lighter, freer, closer to the divine. Time is not to be spent, but to be consecrated, and every day lived in purpose is a liturgy of the Spirit, a hymn sung with your actions. Live as if your ancestors are watching, and your descendants will inherit your choices. Live as if the gods walk beside you, and every step is sacred. You were born with the same fire that burned in Leonidas, the same reason that guided Socrates, the same resolve that steeled Marcus Aurelius. Now awaken it. The marketplace will try to sell you comfort, vanity, noise, but you were not made to purchase illusion. You were made to build eternity with every disciplined choice. Let your mind be a fortress and your heart a flame. Let your voice be calm and your hands be firm, and let your soul be anchored in unshakable truths. The day will come when your body fails, but your virtue will not. The muscles may wither, the face may wrinkle, but courage, loyalty, wisdom, they outlive flesh. You rise each morning not to chase pleasure, but to fulfill purpose, not to escape pain, but to transcend it, and not to be entertained, but to be forged. The philosopher does not chase opinions. He cultivates principles. He is not tossed by trends, but rooted in truth, and he walks in peace amidst chaos. What the crowd mocks today, the wise shall honor tomorrow, and what is hard now becomes your crown in the future. So do not seek applause, seek alignment with the good. A great life is not built in loud moments, but in quiet victories over self, over impulse, over fear. And these small wins build immortal strength though. So today, take one more step, climb one more rung, stand one more time, for you are not alone. You walk with the shades of the wise, and the gods of Olympus watch in silence as you become. If you felt inspired by our journey through the Hellenic horizons, give a thumbs up, subscribe, and share your thoughts below.